had all this built up anger in me. He didn't have the best relationship with his father. I didn't have the best relationship with my father. And every time that I think of him, I used to think of when I thought of my dad, I'd be like, have this like angry thought or this pissed off thought, this frustration. If you have a broken relationship with your dad, or if the relationship with your dad is non-existent or it's not the greatest, then this video is for you. Because the people I've been talking to recently, and including my own experience in my own life, they do not realize, and I did not realize, how much this relationship, this broken relationship, was affecting my life. You don't realize how much this relationship is affecting your life. Now, when I say my dad and I had a broken relationship, I mean that we would barely talk to each other. Like, for many years when I was living in my parents' house, we would barely talk to each other. And I would come home, I played a lot of tennis, so I would come home from tennis practice at night, and I'd walk in the front door. My dad would be sitting on the couch, he'd be drinking a beer, watching television, like the generic dad does. And he would ask me, how was tennis? And I'd say, yeah, good. And then just keep walking. And that was pretty much our relationship for many years. And so that was one thing, that we barely talked to each other. The second thing was that we barely touched each other. And this is more of a sensitive one, but especially with men, although I think it works for both men and women, the relationship with your father, it tends to be a more distant one physically. The mother always, in general, the mother always had like held you and held you close and was always had this touch with you. But with your dad, it's not so much the case. And a lot of dads have this inability to connect with their child through touch. And so my dad and I, we barely touched each other for all of these years. And it's only been in the last year and a half, 2 years, where we've started to hug each other. Isn't that crazy? Like, I lived in my parents' house up until I was 21. And for like 8 to 10 years of that, we were in the same roof, lived in the same house, same family, and we barely touched each other and barely talked to each other. So not only was there this physical distance between us, but there was also an emotional distance between us. And as a result of this physical and emotional distance, I felt like he didn't care what was going on in my life. And so it resulted in us becoming even more and more distant. And that resulted in me becoming angry at him. And I was angry at him of the way he didn't care. I was angry at the way he didn't love me, although I didn't really recognize that at the time. I was just angry with him how he wouldn't change. It was like, no matter what I did or no matter what I said, he wouldn't change. And so with all this built up anger in me, I remember so vividly one night when I was 21 years old. I'm 27 now, so this is 6 years ago. Great maths. I was walking to the fridge and my dad asks me for the first time if I want to drink with him. And though I didn't see it truly at the time, I had this little awareness that it was his way of wanting to talk to me. But what happened was, when I opened the fridge door, I saw a bottle of beer and I also saw a bottle of water. And it was in that moment that I saw something that really changed my life. I saw that if I grabbed the bottle of beer, that I would be going down a similar path to my dad. Even though I thought I was so different from him and I was nothing like him and I was just going down my own path, but it wasn't the case. I had all this built up anger in me. He didn't have the best relationship with his father. I didn't have the best relationship with my father. And I was getting angry at him for drinking and sitting on the couch and watching television. Meanwhile, I was drinking and I was sitting on the couch and watching television and watching YouTube and all that stuff. So the very things that I disliked about my dad was the very things that I was actually doing. And of course you don't recognize this in the moment, right? It's just seems like it's such a far off idea that you are going down a similar path to your dad. But the people that I talk to and I make them aware of this, and I ask them if they have this broken relationship with their dad, or if it's not the best relationship, and they say yes, they can start to piece together how many similarities they share with their dad. And so coming back to that fridge story, when I opened the fridge and I saw that bottle of water, I decided on that bottle of water. And so I stopped drinking and I stopped many things in my life, all because of that moment. And becoming sober, this isn't a talk about becoming sober. Becoming sober did a lot for me. But one of those things was, it softened me. It softened me, and it softened the way that I saw my dad. And so it was really the moment where I started to open up to this possibility that this relationship can actually change. It can actually be different to how it's been all of my life. And so that's when this transformation started. And I think when it comes down to it, and it's part of why I'm making this video for you, part of what it comes down to is when you're in your quiet moments by yourself towards the end of your life and you're reflecting on your life. What's fascinating is that you won't be thinking about, oh, I got this house and I got this car and I got this amount of money and I achieved this, I achieved that. It won't be about that stuff. When you're in your final years of life, you will think back to the people in your life, the people who you love and who loved you. And again, it's one of those things that I never thought would change, but it did change. And it had a drastic impact on my life, and not just the relationship I had with my dad. It had a drastic impact on me. It had a drastic impact on the relationship that I have with my partner now, my soon-to-be wife. It had a drastic impact on my relationship with my daughter. It had a massive impact on my job situation. It had a massive impact on the way I saw my purpose in life. And all of these things I didn't expect to happen from transforming this relationship. And that's why I believe it's one of the things that I'm most proud of doing in my life. It's one of the things that in those final moments I can look back and say, I'm really happy, I'm really proud of myself that I did that. Because if I had have just kept going, if I had picked up that bottle of beer, like maybe I would have gotten a bit closer to my dad, but it wouldn't have been like anything like it is now. Like now we hug each other every time we see each other, and when we say goodbye, we talk to each other more. Just before I was in the gym and I was calling him and I was telling him how I was feeling and what I was going through and like what I'm building at the moment with this business. But it wasn't always like that. Like when he would used to call me, I would used to see his name pop up on my phone and I'd be like, oh man, what does he want now? You know? But now I see him calling and I'm like, yes, he wants to, like, you know, I have that excitement. And every time that I think of him, I used to think of when I thought of my dad, I'd be like, have this like angry thought or this pissed off thought, this frustration. But now when I think of him, I feel a lot of peace and a lot of love. And so I want to just hone in on this for a second, that if you have this broken relationship with your dad, if it's not the best relationship that you know it can be, you would be amazed at how much these feelings, these emotions, these thoughts that you are carrying are trickling, are feeding into other areas of your life. The relationship you have with your partner, maybe you have kids, the relationship you have with your kids, your job, the relationship you have with your job, your bigger purpose in life, the relationship you have with yourself, your thoughts. And just think how long this has been going on with you and your dad if you're in this position. Like, how many years has it been going on? Since what age? You don't realize how much it is affecting other areas of your life until you go into this relationship, until you open up to this transformation. And that's what I'd like to offer you. If you'd like to work with me on this transformation, I would absolutely love to help you. Again, when you're in your final moments of your life, and what it comes down to is not your achievements, is not how much money you have in the bank, it is the relationships you have with the people that you love the most and who love you the most. And so if that's a transformation that you would not only be interested in but committed to, then I'd absolutely love to work with you. I'll leave a link in the description below for you to work with me. Remember, this transformation, it's actually priceless. Like, there's no price on this transformation. But what it does give you is it gives you very valuable time back. It gives you peace of mind. It gives you more confidence, more direction, and overall, it will bring more happiness to your life. I can promise you that. I hope you have enjoyed this video. My name is Jack Little. Remember, be kind, be caring, be courageous, and I'll see you on the next video. Lots of love.